Good evening.
Good evening, my friend. How's it going?
Really good, man. Really good. Another full day of work here in Fort Collins. Um, yeah, feeling great. How are you?
I'm great, dude. I'm doing really good. Had a beautiful day on the mountain. Stayed out there all day. Last few days of bow season here in Arizona, and just spending time in nature, man. Getting to watch nature do its thing so beautifully.
Yeah,
Um,
man. I always definitely feel very connected when I'm able to spend some time out there, and yeah, so really cool.
yeah, yeah, it really is, man. I'm very grateful that I've brought that experience into my life, and I continue to honor it. Um, yeah, it's just brought so much into my life. And then just, man, just being able to watch nature do its thing, like with so much attention. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Just sitting out there by yourself in complete silence, just watching everything do its thing is, man, it's amazing. I think as a society we're missing that big time. Big time, man. Spending way too much time focused on bullshit and not enough time focused on life and giving that our full attention. It changes everything, dude. It's just so amazing and beautiful. Like the things that we just think are normal.
Mhm.
And it's like you just spend like some time staring at it and you're just like, dude, how is this normal? This is fucking insane, dude.
Yeah.
Like the littlest of things, man. Whether it's, you're watching a doe with her fawn just like walking around and eating, and the like how on alert they are, dude. You know what I mean? And that's their life 24/7, just on alert, you know. Um, and then like feeling into the perspective of different things, right? Like how, and I read something today that was kind of interesting, and it's not that I agree with it, but it's kind of interesting at the same time. It's like everything is perspective. To the grass, the deer is a monster and the predator is like the savior, right? Um, because obviously the deer eat the grass, and
Yeah.
right. And so it's like, and you're out there and you're just like realizing how everything is interconnected. Everything is a part of everything. There isn't one thing without the other. And it's just all beautiful. Um, how it all like intermingles and requires each other in order to survive. It's like nuts, dude.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I had a very, very different, but it kind of reminds me, it brings up some feelings of what you just said. Experience this last weekend of, we went to Leadville to celebrate my sister's birthday, which is the hometown of Melanzana, which is what I have now, which I have my new one from this weekend.
Oh, dude, that's sick.
Um, but just that experience when you get to the top of the ski lift, and I'm sure some people have experienced this, but I know not everyone has. But when you get to the top of the ski lift and you're out and you're up there and you can see all the mountains surrounding, and it's a clear
Yeah.
day, and you're just like, oh man, like you start thinking about the people that have maybe made it up there before you, like without the ski lift. And you're like, holy shit, like these people saw this view, potentially at one time. Um, but yeah, just like I'm kind of like, it it brings me at a loss for words pretty much,
Yeah. Yeah. Something I often think about when we're hiking, you get to an epic place, you're just like, man, what would it have been like to be the first person that came over that like ridge with a horse, or walked over it or whatever? You just like discovered this place and you're like, wow. you know. But yeah. So today I would like to talk about, dude, probably like one of the most important things I feel like we can talk about, the concept of death. This is something that I feel like is not talked about anywhere near enough. Um, Starting from like when we're born, I feel like as kids, Like death is taboo. Like, they don't, like, a lot of parents don't take kids to funerals. School doesn't really teach about death. No one really talks about it. When we do talk about it, I feel like there's a lot of things that are kind of like pushed on us, like you have to be sad, you have to grieve. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be sad or you shouldn't grieve. I'm just saying, like, these are like things that apparently you have to do. I mean, it's what it was like for me anyway, growing up. Because that's what everyone else was like, right? And again, depending on your background, depending on your perhaps religion or beliefs, those have tos may differ, right? Maybe your have tos is you celebrate it. I'm not sure. But I think death is something that, I mean, dude, it's the only thing that's guaranteed, right? It's the only thing that's guaranteed. It's the only thing that we are all going to experience for sure. And yet, it's not something that we openly discuss. A lot of people are fearful of it. Again, knowing that it's going to happen, but a lot of people are fearful of it. So I'd like to talk about that. But yeah, that's what I want to talk about today.
It was something that I actually brought to your attention, right? Because it's something I've been thinking about quite a while with um, taking care of my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
In the past like 2, 3 years, I've been spending a lot of time with him. He's needed a lot more help, um, and it's just become very real for me. And I've experienced death a couple times very closely, but I'm sure people have experienced it a lot closer than I have necessarily. But so yeah, it's something that I've been thinking about a lot, and I think it is very important, like you said.
Yeah, for sure, man. Um, well, how about you start, dude? What's going on?
Well, yeah, just being with my grandfather and seeing the decline, specifically in his mental capacity. It's been tough to watch because he's always been a person that I've looked up to, that I've always thought of as a very capable human. He had his own business for a long time, and he's done a lot of things. He's always been able to fix whatever's broken, and just seeing that kind of start to decline has been difficult. Um, another experience I've had with death was my grandmother on my dad's side. Passed away a couple years ago, and that was actually a beautiful experience. Um, and then the one that probably hit me the hardest was one of my best friends in high school. Growing up, his older brother passed, and it's been probably 5 or 6 years ago now, but that was very different. And so yeah, those are the kind of the three areas I've been looking at death. Um, but yeah.
Yeah, man, it's, like I said, it's one of those things that's going to happen to all of us. And I think that, you know, based on our beliefs or perspectives, we feel differently about it based on what happens, right? So, for example, um, your grandmother, why was that beautiful?
Well, we were on a family trip. We were on a family vacation. We were up in northern Arizona, Winslow, and in the morning when we were heading out to leave, she just started acting very differently. She's kind of been in a wheelchair for a while, but she all of a sudden got this huge burst of energy, and for whatever reason, I felt the call to go spend some time with her in the morning before we took off,
Mhm.
and had that time with her, and she was reciting Bible verses, and she was very like animated, which is very different. And there was a car of us which had siblings and cousins who had shared the same grandmother, but we all left earlier to go play some golf. And we were on the golf course, and we got the call that apparently when the rest of them were taken off, she got buckled into her seat, and basically just kind of passed away right then and there. And it was at the end of a great trip with family, and we all had a very special moment together, standing around a tee box and sharing our favorite memories of her. Luckily, the golf course wasn't very crowded. Um, but yeah, just a beautiful moment. And I just, I feel kind of spoiled that I was able to experience death in that way.
Mm-hmm. And then compared to what you're going through with your grandfather, and then compared to what happened to your friend.
Well, I'll focus on what happened to my friend. Um, I thought him, like I said, as an older brother, and he was out on a motorcycle ride and was unfortunately struck and killed. Um, and he was in his, mid to late 20s, and he was a brewer and, um, just a very fun loving person and just brought joy to the world. And so, yeah, from my perspective at the time, it was very sad to see him go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard, man, right? Like these experiences are really hard, and we create assumptions in our mind a lot of the time, right? Like this idea that, well, yeah, dude, he's going to be here for a long time. I think a lot of us live under the assumption that we're just going to be here until the average age of death, at least, right? And we live our life accordingly. And for the people that um, witness these events, these deaths that we call premature, but really they're not premature. That they just happened when they happened, right? There is no premature death. Death is death, and it happens exactly when it's supposed to. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened, right? Just like everything else in life, and that's really hard to admit, and that's really hard to accept. It's really hard to feel into, especially when these people are people that, man, like we're so close to. Um, but it is right. That's what it is. That's the way it is. And I think this is something that we can all bring a lot of awareness to, man. Like, and wake the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like what how would you live your life if you knew you could die at any moment? Because that's what it is. The no one's guaranteed another moment. And for a lot of my life, I was living it that way, as if I was guaranteed, another moment. And sometimes I still live that way subconsciously, you know what I mean? Um, but the Sufis, Sufi was a religion within like the Muslim community. And like the Sufis used to have this saying, and they would say, which is pretty much like, you must die before you die in order to truly love and live, right? And what they're pretty much saying is what we're talking about right now, right? Like I'll share an experience with you. So like I had a death experience. So I was on a high dose of LSD, and I was lying in my bed. And I was lying next to Cat. Cat was sleeping, and I went deep into this experience of completely embodying the fact that I assumed I was going to wake up. So every morning or every night that I went to bed, I assumed I was going to wake up. And that's what allowed me to go to bed so nicely. It's just like, all right, cool, dude. I'll be here in the morning. Let's just go to sleep. Right. And so in this moment, with my eyes closed in my bed on hallucinogenics, I was living the reality that I may not wake up if I close my eyes and go to sleep. Right. And so, in order to be able to go to sleep, I had to be okay with the fact that I could die and I may not wake up. And, for a lot of people that have never perhaps been on hallucinogenics, you maybe don't understand like how real this is, but it is as real as it gets. That is exactly what my reality was. And in order for me to go to sleep, I had to get to a point where I was okay with dying. And I did get to a point where I was okay with dying. Um, and going back to that saying, die before you die, that's exactly what that experience was for me. I got to a place where I was able to let go of all my regrets, was able to forgive all things and all people that I was holding on to shit for. I was able to come to a place within my life where I was completely happy and content with everything I had done and where I was in this moment. I was able to reflect on the beautiful person lying next to me, my wife, Kat, and just feel into the most insane amounts of gratitude for her and my family and my friends. And and all these things, dude. And then pretty much like said goodbye, man, before I went to bed, right, and fell asleep. Um, and my life changed after that, dude. Like dramatically, my life changed, and it's never been the same since. And I mean, you've obviously been a part of my life for all of this, and so you've seen the change in my life. I no longer do anything I don't want to do. I no longer do anything for the sake of doing it, meaning that I used to chase money and would do things that didn't feel aligned or loving or joyful in order to make money. Don't do that anymore. Don't do anything like that anymore. And, I say that because this experience, die before you die, allows us to be the most authentic versions of ourselves. And I think it's something that's really important. And I really appreciate you sharing that story about your grandmother and your friend, because it really, like, dude, it emphasizes the importance of this moment. This is all we got, man. This is all we got. And we're not guaranteed another. Another way of thinking die before you die is ego death, right? Completely um, ridding yourself of the ego and being able to experience your true self, your soul, the I am, right? That is also a beautiful experience of die before you die. You start to, well, in that experience, you embody and realize how ridiculous the personality is, how ridiculous all these things that we think are really important are. They're not important. How ridiculous, um, the idea of um, like the egoic self, right? Like how important I am, and all of that nonsense, right? And you get to sit in the glory and in the beauty of the fact that we are God. We are the I am. We are interconnected with all things, and we aren't separate from anything. And I think the ego does a really good job at trying to create separateness. The ego does a really good job at like constructing its entire identity around permanence and control, right? Trying to make itself survive. And in order to do that, it has to create the belief that, you know, of permanence, and saying, hey, man, you have to you have to be here forever. And and in order to do that, you must fear death, right? Death is the enemy, right? Which is insane. Um, but when we're able to accept death as something that is going to happen and we have no idea when it's going to, and also accept that fact that it's the unknown of when, right? The lightness that you feel, the sense of purpose that you have for this moment, the sense of aliveness that you have in this moment, it's hard to explain. It can only be felt if you die before you die in this moment. Um, yeah,
Yeah, they have that. I mean, the saying goes, right, the only two guarantees are death and taxes. But I mean, yeah, you could probably get away with not paying taxes until you die.
I
I mean,
agree.
most people could.
I
Uh,
agree.
but it's so true. I mean, that is the one thing that everyone on this planet is going to experience is death.
Yeah,
And just coming to that realization and like, yeah, really feeling into that is very powerful, I think.
yeah. And that doesn't mean that, oh my God, like I can't wait to die. It's like, no, dude, like I'm loving this life, dude. This life is great. And I'm in no rush, bro. I'm not gonna just jump off a cliff or anything like that. I'm in no rush, but at the same time, like I'm not afraid of it either. And that doesn't mean that if someone had a gun to my head, I wouldn't, be scared. Fuck yeah, I'd be scared. But again, like that's like the momentary reaction to a gun in my fucking face, dude. You know what I mean? Like the calm of being like completely content with my life, who I am, where I am in this moment, and all that I've done is one of the most beautiful things I can offer myself. And I really invite everyone listening to offer yourself the same grace. Um, it really does change your life. And in order to get there, there are some things that really were helpful for me, and will be helpful for you, right? So it's like who's really dying, right? Like, or what's really dying, right? Like the body, the soul. Obviously, these are things that you either believe in or you don't believe in, right? And there's a lot of paradoxes that go along with that, right? But from what I've experienced, I am not this body, right? And there's like huge liberation, bro. Like the liberation that comes from recognizing that we are not just this body and this mind construct is huge, right? If we're really identified with this body and this mind, then yeah, man, death is super scary, very scary. Um, it doesn't have to be, but for those that are identified with it, then yeah, I can understand why it is. But you don't have to be identified with it because it's not you, right? And what does that mean that it's not you? Well, your body is just an accumulation, right? Like your body wasn't always this way. My body used to be a lot smaller. It used to look a lot different. And then I ate some food and drank some water, and it continued to grow, right? And that food became me, that water became me. And so my body's an accumulation. So you can't be what you accumulate. You were before the accumulation. You already were, right? So that's where the idea of the soul comes in, and call it whatever you want. But that's the thing that was there, is there, and always will be there, regardless of whether the body is there or not, right? And it's a beautiful thing to feel into. And let's say that you don't believe in that. Let's say you have no beliefs whatsoever. How do you find peace? Well, you find peace in the unknown, the realization that we don't know what happens. And on top of the fact that we don't know what happens, what's your other choice? You can't not die. You're going to die. So, how does it serve you to fear it? Doesn't serve you to fear it. In no way does it serve you to fear it, right? And so, can we be okay with the unknown? And if you feel like it, you can also bring in certain concepts like that feel good, right? You don't have to; they're not necessary, but they're kind of cool. Either way, you're going to find out when you die anyway. So that's the fun part. Again, that's the paradox. You can hold these beliefs or concepts and at the same time still hold the truth, which is I don't know. That's kind of where I am, right? These concepts of the soul, they feel really good, but I know that I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea if there's a soul in here or not. Just feels good. And that's kind of, it's also been my experience. That's what it feels like this experience is to me, right? It doesn't feel like I am this body. It feels like I am the awareness and the soul behind it. What about you, man? Like where have you got to so far? What do you feel like is your reality when it comes to that subject?
Well, yeah, it's something that we've spoken about many times. It's something that the more I think about it, the more peace I get from it, the more you know, the more I can say I'm okay with dying. Obviously, like you said, when you get to that point, if I'm rock climbing without a harness and I'm way high up, I'm gonna feel very scared. Um, but at the same time, um, the more thought I put into it, yeah, the more at peace I feel, and the more I'm okay with not being here, and the more liberated I feel. And it's kind of ironic because my friend I spoke about lived his life that way. I felt like he was one of the people that inspired me to take risks. He did a lot of things in his life, but he truly followed his dream, which was making beer, and he loved it, and that's what he dedicated his life to. And so it's very inspirational for me, and ironic too when you think about it.
Yeah.
To the guy that dedicated his life to what he wanted to do, is the one who, I unfortunately had to feel those types of feelings after his death, but it again was inspiring, and I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I feel like he inspired a ton of people when he was here. And something we've spoken about before also is, what's worse, him not being here or him never having been here.
Hmm.
And I think that's like one of the things that gives me peace, and I feel like so much gratitude for his life and for him being able to inspire me in the time he was here.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful concept. And I want to share an experience based on that concept that I had that really changed things for me. And so like So my grandfather on my mum's side passed away a while ago now. Can't remember how many years ago, but I was still in Phoenix at that time. So it was probably around like 2018 or something like that, 17. And I remember getting the call from my mum, and I remember going upstairs and sitting down with it. And I was sad, man. I was really sad. And I remember crying. And then I remember I had this moment of like like a light bulb moment. And what came through for me was, so I had this grandfather that we're talking about that I got to spend my entire life with, right? I have so many memories of him. I've known him for my entire life. And then my grandfather on my dad's side, he passed away when I was 3. I have no memories of him. I've never been sad for him. I've never grieved him or anything like that. Never really thought about him much at all, except when like people brought him up in the family and to speak about him, right? Um, and what that like really meant to me was just like, all right, so I have this one grandfather that I have all these memories with, and I got to experience. I have this other grandfather that I didn't get to experience at all. Like, what would I rather? Like, man, like I would rather experience, right? And then that just brought in like insane feelings of gratitude, right? Just so much gratitude, like overwhelming gratitude. And then I started crying in gratitude. Like I was just so happy and grateful. And so I had a smile on my face, and at the same time I was crying, just how grateful I was that I got to actually experience this beautiful person, right? And I think that's a really beautiful thing to think about, is just like, yeah, man, it's going to be hard. And yes, we're going to grieve, and it's going to feel like loss. But really, it's not loss. It's not loss at all. Like, from so many different aspects, it's not loss. And I'll make a case for this. Again, this is just me. So so I've lived away from home for a long time now, a long time. And what I've realized living away from home is I don't need to be physically next to someone in order to experience them, right? I can experience their love. I can experience their touch. I can experience their smell. I can experience their voice. I can experience their advice. I can experience all of that stuff, dude, because I have, and I still do. And the reason I can is because I have old memories of these people, right? A good example would be like, one second, I had the cough. A good example would be like, have you ever had the experience of like you're doing something in particular, and what you're doing makes you think of someone because that person either is really good at that thing, or they whatever it is, right? But something you're doing makes you think of that person, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
cool. And then in that moment, it's like that person is there. It's like reality. It's like they're there, dude. Whether you can see them, you can hear what they're saying to you in that moment, you can see what they're doing in that moment with that thing or whatever it is, right? That's just like one example. Another way that I kind of do it is I close my eyes and I bring them into this moment, right? I do that with my grandfather. I used to do it with my parents and with my brother when I lived away from them and they were still alive, right? And I wanted to feel comforted by them and stuff like that, right? And your body doesn't know the difference. That's really important to understand, right? Your body doesn't know the difference. For your body, it is reality. It is happening right now. That person is there, right? And so, you know, for me now, when people die, it's a completely different thing. It's not that I don't get upset. Again, there's nothing wrong with grief. There's nothing wrong with getting upset. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you shouldn't feel that. What I'm saying is, I would invite you to balance that out and also feel the gratitude, because the only reason you can grieve them is because you experience them. And that's such a beautiful fucking thing, dude. It's so beautiful. There are so many people in this world that you've never gotten a chance to experience. And they're dying all the time, and we don't even think of them, right? And I just think that's such a powerful fucking thing to like think about and embody, you know? I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's the same thing when, my sister lost her dog that she's had for years and years and over a decade. But, you know, and it's easy to say for me when she calls me, it's easy to say, oh, well, you know, think about the good times, but it's so true. You know, it's like you wouldn't be feeling those, you wouldn't be feeling all the pain, you wouldn't be feeling all the heartbreak unless you got to experience all the amazing times with them. And you know, it's kind of like what we spoke about a couple episodes ago, or I don't remember how many episodes ago on contrast. Um, but I think it's very relevant to this conversation about death as well.
Yeah, for sure. Expand on that slightly, just so people know what you're talking about.
You mean my sister's
No,
dog
the
passed?
contrast and why
Oh,
that's
contrast.
yeah,
Just yeah, just you know, you can't feel all the good feelings, all the joy, all the love, you know, unless you feel what the opposite feels like without, you know, the absence of love, without the absence of joy. Um, yeah, and I think it's very important to recognize when you're in those moments when you're feeling the absence of love or you're feeling the grief to connect with, you know, the love that you experience from that person or all the joys you've had with the that being or whatever the case may be in your situation.
yeah, yeah, and again, like I know people could make a case for like, oh, like there's lack now, like I'm lacking that person now, but I don't see it that way at all. I don't see that you're lacking that person. I feel like the only case you have for that is if you never met that person, you'd be liking that person, But if you've experienced that person, then they can never truly leave you. You have them now forever, in so many ways, right? And I think that's a really beautiful thing. Um, I think I think grief is a beautiful emotion. At the same time, I think that we should own it, meaning that grief is about us. It's got nothing to do with the person that passed away. And I think it's important for us to own that, right? Um, and what do I mean by that? Well, it's like I think it's like under the illusion that like we're grieving this other person, but we're not grieving this other person. That person has become one with the beloved now, dude. They're no longer here, right? Like we're grieving this idea that this person is no longer within our lives, that we are missing this person, like we like you can't grieve without the I, right? And again, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just think it's important for us to own that as that's an us thing. It's not a them thing. Um, I think a lot of people grieve under the illusion that it's like about the other person, and it's not. It's about us. Um, and there's a lot that we can take from that lesson. I've taken a lot from that lesson on grief. Um, and I would say that for me now, I don't know if I grieve anymore. It's different now. It's not that I don't get upset. It's not that I don't miss the person, but I just don't make it about me anymore. It's got nothing to do with me, right? Um, and it's hard to explain that. I mean, I don't know what other word I would use besides grief. It's like you see the truth, right? Like you see the wholeness of it, right? I no longer can like lie to myself and like feel grief under the illusion that like, oh, I'm no longer whole anymore because this person's not here, or this person, I'm lacking this person. Like those are all lies to me now. They're not true within my reality anymore. Um, and again, that doesn't mean that I think there's something wrong with grief. It's just it's morphed for me now. It's changed based on my awareness and my experience. It's transmuted into something different. Um, like I said, there's still sadness, but it's not grief. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if you want to share anything. I know Kat, um, you know, dealt with the passing of her father somewhat recently. If there's anything you took from that,
yeah, dude, for sure, man. Man, I'd love for Kat to be on here and share it. I got to get her on here, but um, man, Kat was unreal, dude. She was a great teacher for all of us, including her dad. But so Kat was with her dad in the car when her dad passed away next to her, right next to her in the car. No one else was with her. They're on their way back from the hospital in the car, and she was there, and man, just being with her through that entire process. There were so many things that came up in that process, so I'd like to share them because I think they're really important. We were in Atlanta together, and Kat came back to Tucson to be with her dad. And she asked me if I wanted to come with her. And I gave myself the space to feel into whether I should go with her. And my heart told me, no, stay here. She doesn't need you. She needs herself. And that was a hard thing for me to hear. And I questioned it, but I listened to it and I stayed. And I got shit from people, dude. Like um, I remember speaking to, I think it was my mom, and she didn't give me shit, but she was just like, like what, like, why didn't you go back with her? Like a lot of people just didn't understand, right? Certain people just didn't understand. People in her family didn't understand. Like, why isn't Ben here? Where's Ben? Right. And again, like, I'm sure people listen to this maybe don't understand, and that's fine. I don't really care. um, what came from that? Kat said thank you to me. She didn't understand at first why I didn't go. Firstly, let's start with that. She also didn't understand. But then that ended with her saying thank you to me. She's like, Ben, thank you for not coming. I was like, why? She's like, because it was really, really hard for me the first couple of days without you there. And then I realized I didn't need you. She's like, at first I thought I needed you, but now I realize I don't. And I didn't. And to me, that was the most beautiful thing I could fucking hear, man. Because here I am knowing how powerful she is, knowing how whole she is, how beautiful she is, and that she can take care of herself and she doesn't need me. And by me listening to my heart and making that decision out of love, she was able to realize that, like she was able to realize that within herself, not because not from me telling her or trying to like prove it to her. And I didn't make that decision to teach her that lesson, which was fucking beautiful as well, right? Because there's been times in the past where I've done things to try and teach her a lesson, and that wasn't it. And that was so fucking beautiful, man. And I'm so happy that she had that experience. Um, and then when it came to like her dealing with her dad's death after that, it was just a different thing. Like she was so much more confident, so much more capable. Um, and she like held it down for her family, like there are a lot of people in her family that didn't know how to treat her dad while he was sick. And that's what I observed. And this is just my perspective. A lot of people just treated him like he was sick. Um, there were moments where I treated him like he was sick. Kat never treated him like he was sick. Kat just treated him like he was the same he was every day. And he really appreciated that. I could tell how much he appreciated that. Because that must be really hard, dude. It must be really hard to fucking be dying and no one's treating you normal, right? Like no one's just like everyone's treating you like you're dying. It's like, fuck, dude, that must be so difficult. That was a huge lesson that I took from Kat. Huge lesson, man. It was just like, don't do that, right? Like it's not that you're denying the truth, but you can know that the person's dying without treating them like they're fucking dying and allowing them to like live their last days or weeks as a normal person, you know. Um, what else?
Shit, yeah. I'm feeling secondhand grief over here. But no, just because you and Kat have both shared a lot with me, and
Yeah.
going through that again is it's never easy. And
No.
yeah, again, it's not supposed to be, and it's not the point of our conversation.
Yeah.
Um, but what I think is cool is I don't know if you're ready to get to this, but the lessons that death teaches you.
Yeah, for sure. I think like everything that we speak about, death is a teacher, right? It's a it's a beautiful teacher. Um, and the way I kind of like think about it is like, what is death asking of us, right? Like what is death asking of the people that are living right now? And what are its like biggest lessons? I would say that its biggest lessons are to forgive now, right? Like forgive now. Don't hold on to shit, dude. Like, oh no, like I'll forgive later. No, forgive now. There is no later. There's only this moment, and you may not get another one. So forgive now. Drop that fucking bag, dude. Take that bag off, man. Those heavy fucking bags of not forgiving, just get rid of that shit. Forgive now. I think another beautiful lesson is like love now, love more courageously now, knowing that you could possibly get rejected, knowing that your love may not be reciprocated. Love courageously now. Because again, there is no other fucking moment and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's not reciprocated. That's not what love is about. Love, you don't love to get it back. You love to love because that's what you want to do. And so be courageous and love now. Um, I think death asks us to be authentic, right? Like, what do you want to do, man? You want to keep being inauthentic, right? Like you want to keep not being yourself. The question of like, would you continue doing exactly what you're doing if you were to die in a week? And 9.999% of people are just like 99.9% of people are just like, no, no fucking way. I'll do something different. It's like, all right, well, how authentic are you actually being with yourself right now, man? Like under the illusion that you're going to live, under the illusion that you have time. And let's say you do have time, right? Like, let's say that, like, oh, yeah, like life guarantees you life until 80. Does that mean that you should not be authentic now? Fuck no, man. like, like, for me, being inauthentic is worse than dying. Like, I'd fucking rather die now than be inauthentic, dude. That sucks, man. It feels like shit. And so, like, be authentic. I think death is asking us the question, like, when are you going to be authentic? Be authentic now, right? Um, I think like living with regret is horrible. I don't think any of us should be living with regret. Get rid of regret, right? I think it's asking us to drop your regret, right? Like we shouldn't regret anything. Like everything that we've experienced for a reason. And you either taken the lesson from it or not. It's allowed you to come to new awareness or it hasn't. But you need to get rid of that. Drop regret.
Yeah, what you say about living with authenticity is for me. What comes up for me is the same idea of like living. Would you rather live with fear until you're 80, or would you rather just live without fear and with joy, and and
Yeah.
how long that comes to pass?
Yeah. It's like, fear or faith. Pick one, dude. You got two options, bro. Fear or faith. I'm picking faith every time, every fucking time, man. If I can, if I'm aware and conscious and able, I'm picking faith. And I feel like if I was to ask most people what they would want to pick, they would want to pick faith. And some people just have some very deep programs, subconscious programs that continuously lead them into fear. And to that I say, all right, well, that's the work, right? That's the work. um, to use your aware and conscious moments to pick faith as much as you can and reprogram those pathways. You know, um, something else that comes up for me when it comes to like death as a teacher is like what do you think matters in the final moments? Like you're dying, you're on your deathbed. What matters?
I mean, for me, just the love of the people that are around me, the love I've been able to give, and I know receive, or whatever that may be for me. I mean, really, the
Yeah,
love of family and friends around me, like that's it for me.
yeah, right. And it's like there's so many things that we think matter, and they don't fucking matter at all, dude. They don't matter at all, man. You know, and people want to say, oh, they matter a little bit. It's like, no, they don't. They don't, man. And I'm just going to be, as authentic as I can be. It's like I consistently get challenged by people like, oh, money matters. It's like, does it? Does it really? Like, well, what do you mean it matters? And so people will say, like, oh, like you need it in order to live. It's like, no, you don't need it to live, actually. There's many people living without money. So you don't need it to live. You can be alive without money. You need it to maintain a certain lifestyle. I think it's really important to get fucking clear on that. Everyone needs to get really fucking clear on that. You don't need money to live. You need money to live a certain lifestyle. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. That's completely fine. But don't lie to yourself, right? and tell yourself that, oh, in order for you to survive, you need money. You don't. It's something I've really continued to bring into my awareness as much as I can in every moment. It's what allows me to not go against what I know to be true in order to attract money, right? Um, I just think that's super important. Life and lifestyle, two different fucking things.
Yeah, and I know we've shouted out the book a few times, but the power of now puts a lot of those things into perspective for me. So many cool sayings. Um, yeah, so many cool perspectives that it's taught me, and um, yeah, it kind of just comes up again when we talk about death. It's just like
Yeah.
the
Oh, it's a beautiful
power.
book. Yeah, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's a beautiful book. If you haven't read it, read it now. Now. There's no other moment, guys. Get it now. Read it now. No, for real though, it's an amazing book. Changed my life. I know it changed your life. Pretty much everyone I've given it to, it's changed their life. It can't not change lives. It's such a beautiful book with so many things, like so many lessons of wisdom that really allow you to question yourself, your own beliefs, um, and allow you to realize what we've been talking about in this podcast, in this episode, which is like all there is now. The past is a memory. The future is an assumption, man. It's your imagination. The only fucking real thing is now. And so stop living in this imaginary future of like, oh, I've got all the time in the world. It's like, no, you don't. You don't. And so how's that going to change your life? And what are you going to do about it? You know? Um, Another like cool way of thinking about it for me that came up for me that I wrote down that I wanted to share with people is like attachment versus devotion, right? And I thought this was super cool. It was like attachment holds on to form, devotion honors the soul, right? And so like form would be this body, like our identification with this body, um, and devotion honors the soul. It honors what is beneath it all. It honors what is still present without the body, right? Attachment asks, how do I keep this? Devotion asks, how do I love this fully even when it leaves? Which I think is fucking insane, right?
Insane.
Insane, dude. It's so cool, right? And so it's like, where's your devotion at? You know, like, are you devoted to self? Are you devoted to loving yourself fully, even though you know you're going to die? Are you are you devoted to everyone around you, dude? Are you devoted to the planet? Right? Like, are you devoted to all of life, knowing that you're going to die one day and not be here? And so, can you still fully love everything and give everything you have, knowing that at one day you're still not going to be here to give it? And some may say it won't matter to you, right? Because you're not going to be here. So, why should it matter? That's where devotion steps in compared to attachment. Whereas attachment's like, oh, fuck that. Devotion's like, no, man, I'm going to give it everything I got, knowing that I'm not always going to be here. And I think that's cool, man. That's really cool. That's something that I'm really taking from this conversation that we're having. I'm gonna keep that close to my heart. You know, um, that just hits me good. That makes a
Yeah,
lot of makes a lot of sense
no,
to me.
agreed, man. Yeah, and put it into terms like that, attachment versus devotion. I love it.
Yeah. Um, I think the mind has a hard time with death because, like, obviously the mind wants to understand. That's what the mind does. The mind wants to understand, and the mind doesn't understand. It doesn't understand because no one fucking understands. No one knows. It's the one thing we can't really know. I mean, we don't obviously know anything, but like, it's like we don't know what's going to happen. Um, a lot of people assume nothing's going to happen. Some people assume we go to heaven. Other people think we go to hell. I mean, take your pick. Again, those are all beliefs, but ultimately we don't know. And I think the mind has a hard time with that. You know what doesn't have a hard time with that? Your heart. Your heart knows. It's the only thing that does know. And when I go to my heart has like complete faith and reverence for death. It doesn't have fear about it. It's not confused. Um, and when I'm in my heart, It doesn't even focus on it. It's just so focused on loving, you know. Um, but I think, you know, having a reverence for the unknown, and like in this instance death, allows us to wake the fuck up now, right? Like wake the fuck up now and realize, all right, like I've got this moment. I'm guaranteed this moment. That's it. So what am I gonna do about it, man? Um, I said that before, but I think it's important to say it again. Like let's wake up, guys. Let's let's give it everything we got. And I don't mean like, oh, like only action wise. I'm not talking about like, oh, now you have to like go and like act and do all these things physically. No, I mean like more like within yourself. What you're going to do about it within yourself. How authentic are you going to be? How like fiercely are you going to love? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how you change the world. You know?
Yeah. It's not like you have to quit your job today, but can you, give each person you see a bit more love,
Yeah.
and each person you see a bit more attention?
And continue to just do your best to continue to be that much more authentic within your life to yourself and everyone else, you know. um I got a couple of things I want to close this out with, but is there anything else you want to kind of talk about before we do that?
I'm good, man. Wrap it up.
Cool. This is directed towards parents. I encourage you to talk to your kids more about death. Normalize it, man. Let them be around it. Let them grieve. Let them suffer. Let them be sad. Like, let them go through that shit at a young age so they can be okay with it, so they can take like wisdom from it, lessons from it, so they can share it with others and light up this fucking world, man, and stop continuing to breed this culture of like fear around death. You know, it's not something we need to fear. Something we need to have reverence for, something we need to love. And it's something we should be prepared for, man. You know, like content with our lives. And so, parents, I encourage you to do that. Be bold, be courageous, right? It's not going to be easy, but it's much easier than the other options, right? You're not saving them and helping them by wrapping them, uh, wrapping them in bubble wrap and not letting them experience these hard things early. Let them experience these hard things early. It's super important. And I'll wrap it up with this. Now is the only time. Now is the only time. And this is all you got. You don't know when this body is not going to be here anymore. And so give them fucking hell, dude. Let's go. Give it all you got, man. You know, don't worry about the world, man, and don't worry about the people that can't handle your light, right? Don't worry about the fact that sometimes like you by doing this you're going to shine your light really bright, and some people, man, can't handle it. It's way too bright. Turn it down. Fuck that. Turn that shit up, right? Um Turn that shit up, right? And for those that can't handle it, perfect. And for those that can, perfect, right? That's what you're meant to, that's what you're here to do. Shine that light, man. Now's the only time.
Awesome, man. Oh, I always appreciate your words and your perspective. So thanks again, man.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for sharing your experiences with death, and thanks for bringing this subject up. And um, yeah, dude, it's so important. Thank you all for listening. Appreciate you for being here, and we'll see you next time.
Good night.